presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a Primal Lifestyle. With your hosts, Nico and Ellen Haan. Now, Nico and Ellen Haan.
Good morning, I'm Nico Haan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world.
To recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms.
That's right. It's a beautiful day in downtown St. Petersburg. It's 77 degrees. Feels like 77, even though the humidity is 98 degrees, and it's partly cloudy.
But this morning it felt a little, I got a hint of a cool
breeze. I think it's wishing it would come.
Wishful thinking.
Yes, but this is not wishful thinking. This is the Primal Edge, and this is our one-shot wonder. Over 310 organic, cell-ready liquid ingredients, so it's easy to take, and it's all powered by fulvic and humic acid that gets the good stuff in.
And cues the bad stuff to vacate.
Yes, indeed. And, of course, we have our Health Signals newsletter. We have a brand new one out, came last week, and talking about the Fat Emperor. Had Dr. Schindler on there, and we talked about that last week. So very interesting articles in here, so pick that up. It follows the show. It's only $10 a month and gives you all the information we're talking about.
Yes, it does.
And today we're going to talk about mental health. You know, the aspect of this COVID thing we're mostly talking about the aspect of, well, you get sick, it hurts, it doesn't feel good, you get better maybe, you die maybe, it's not good. But there's a lot of mental challenges along with this too.
Yeah.
Unknown Prognoses, looming severe shortages of resources for testing and treatment and for protecting first responders and health care providers from infection. All these different measures that we've been putting into place, it's on again. Is it coming back? Is there a second wave? Is there a third wave coming? Are we going to go back to school? I mean, all these things do have a effect on your health, I think.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, and the health and safety of both the healthcare workers and the people who get sick are in play here.
Yeah, and there's a lot of uncertainty here, and it's way beyond the normal that you would expect in a short-term crisis. You know, the public health protocols are new. Everything's new.
And they change.
And they change daily. It seems.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about the mental health components of this pandemic for a number of weeks, months, really, and. One thing we don't think about is that the people who are taking care of the people who are impacted by the pandemic are not trained a lot, and in most cases not trained mental health professionals.
Right.
And they themselves have issues from dealing with all of the stuff that's going on.
Yeah, and what's going on is a lot of insecurity, a lot of confusion, emotional isolation, and stigma. And communities have economic loss, both in work and school closures, inadequate resources for the medical response. The distribution of goods doesn't go well in times like this.
The toilet paper crisis was just bizarre.
Well, that was the first part, and that's when you can see people panicking, and that's when they pick up paper goods, I guess. I don't get it either.
I think at the beginning there was a rumor that the coronavirus had a huge diarrhea component, and people rushed out and bought toilet paper. I don't know. It's very weird.
Well, it says in this article, and this is an article called Mental Health and the COVID-19 Pandemic by the New England Journal of Medicine. And so they say some groups may be more vulnerable to others to the psychological effects of this pandemic, in particular people who contract the disease, those at heightened risk. That's including the elderly, people with compromised immune systems, those living or receiving care in these settings, in the hospitals.
And the isolation, I think the isolation was even worse for the folks who were anywhere in a residential facility because their families couldn't get in.
Yeah.
And being isolated from your family on top of and maybe not really understanding what's going on just exacerbates all the symptoms and all the anxiety and the problems that are inherent. And when you have all the psychological components and the mental components, they can interfere with healing.
Yeah, and we've dealing with this stuff too, but we haven't even had anybody sick near us. I mean, we know of a few people here and there, but it hasn't impacted us directly. So imagine if you're in a household and now you have one person sick, the stress goes way up all of a sudden.
Yeah, and even if you're not having terrible symptoms and it's moderate, one family I know of, the whole family basically came down with it, but it was a matter of, feeling tired and losing your taste of smell and your taste.
But you have that looming thing. Could it get worse?
Well, that's right.
Yeah, are the other people in the household going to get worse than I have? That type of thing.
Right.
How am I going to take care of these things? And then, of course, the psychological effect of being out of work, or maybe not having the income you used to have, or maybe having no income at all.
And the children are there constantly, and you have to. And the whole homeschooling thing was a huge stress on parents and families.
So as for the healthcare providers themselves, the novel nature of this SARS-CoV-2 involved inadequate testing, limited treatment options, insufficient PPE and other medical supplies, extended workloads, and other emerging concerns are resources of stress that have the potential to overwhelm these systems. And we've seen those things going on also, not on a personal level, but certainly in certain hospitals, people are short of goods. In the beginning, we couldn't find masks anywhere. I had ordered 50 of them and they never came. So these things so now we're here and we've been through this thing since March, pretty much.
Yeah, it was March 27th, actually.
Yeah, so that's 7-8 months? 6 months.
6.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting to me.
Math.
It's just math, yeah. So, and do we see ourselves at the light of the tunnel? I was telling somebody the other day, maybe when the election's over, this thing just magically goes away. Who knows what it is?
Well, there's two things going on here. We have a very real health crisis, and then we have a very real social and governmental and mental health crisis.
We've had that all along.
Yeah, and
the government.
This is I was thinking about that because certainly mental health issues have been getting worse and worse and worse over the years. More and more people. Now maybe you just are more aware of it, or maybe
it's at that low level you can deal with it. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, but now your average person who is not prone to the kinds of anxiety and the kinds of stress reactions but now because of what happened, regular people are experiencing a lot of these symptoms as well.
Yeah.
And then how do you get treatment for it? You can't go to a doctor's office, let's say. At the beginning, everything was closed, and you couldn't, unless it were an emergency, and how do you, and it's, they talk about stress, depression, irritability, insomnia, fear, confusion, anger, frustration, boredom.
It's all there, that's for sure. So when we get back, let's talk about a little bit of maybe some solutions that we can get into and some of the new stuff that's coming down. So stick around, folks. And in the meantime, please pick up our Primal Edge, our One-Shot Wonder, and Ellen and I will be right back.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and a need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
And welcome back. Today is World Mental Health Day. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I didn't even know that was existing. But, it's one of the biggest problems, and a lot of money is being thrown at it. This article is talking about that we really need to fund this, and most countries are only spending maybe 2% or less of their GDP on mental health. And I think the whole transition of us from going into a more modern lifestyle in the last 120 years or so is the mental health problem in the beginning. The different foods that we've been eating over the last 120 years since the industrialization. The sanitation is not there. We're killing more and more of the wildlife and the trees and knocking down trees everywhere. That's what we do to get these pasture lands for our animals and build our luxurious. So I think a lot of it has to do with getting away from the natural world. But there are, these companies, and I call them companies, they're World Mental Health Day. They came up with this, and it's the World Health Association, the organization, the United for Global Mental Health, and the World Federation for Mental Health. So these are these community-based organizations that are funded by countries to come up with answers and treatments and give us the education.
Well, part of the problem is that, mental health issues is something that we don't usually talk about very much. We talk about obesity, and we talk about diabetes, and we talk about heart conditions and cancer research. Oh my God, there's billions and billions for cancer research. But close to 1 billion people have mental disorders. 3 million people die every year from harmful use of alcohol, and one person dies every 40 seconds by suicide. Wow! Now that statistic really blew me away. And with the pandemic now, we have 40, and we have the entire world. When we have a hurricane in Florida, these days it can be anywhere, really. Right. But the point is, it comes and it goes, and there's a finite amount of time, and there's aid available, and there's a whole bunch of places that's not affected by the hurricane that can help. Yeah. And this is just so totally different. This pandemic is everywhere. You can't go anywhere to get away from it. You can't, go on vacation somewhere where there's no hurricane, And it really that's adding tremendously to the stress.
Yeah. So these, and the reason I bring this up is just to indicate that there are organizations that kind of deal with this. I think dealing this on a personal level is the way to go, on a, down to the people that you are involved with. It starts with your family and maybe some of your health professionals and maybe some of your community leaders, some of the old tribe members, that type of thing. What we used to have, we don't have anymore. So maybe, we don't have as much help. I mean, I remember watching the Crocodile Dundee movie, and he had this guy who was there going to psychiatrists all the time, and he says, "Don't you have a mate? Don't you have a bartender you can talk to?" So these things are relatively new. I don't know when psychiatry was actually started as far as the way we treat it today, but it used to be by the chief and the medicine man and the elders.
Well, now it is by the medicine man, except it's pharmacology, it's psychopharmacology, the way we treat it, and it's not herbs and natural remedies. It's, give them a pill, and then you read, 14 pages of side effects for the pill, which are a lot worse than the actual disease.
Yeah. And that's not the only type of treatment there is, of course, but I have my own horror stories about having my mother tied up in a hospital when she had a nervous breakdown, and my dad and my uncle and I going to rescue her, seeing her tied up like that. I mean, this was during my lifetime, and, the horror of those things. And all the things that you hear that really do go on.
Electroshock therapy.
But there is a new thing going on. I'm going to bring this new article up in here, if I can get my cursor to, it is called a helmet of some kind, a helmet cure.
It's a treatment for depression, and it's transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS.
And of course, we know that we are electric beings, and when you're using magnets, you're using electricity, and
they're manipulating
they're manipulating. So countries are spending lots of money on healthcare, and this is a new type of thing that's going. I'm sure these machines aren't cheap, but more than 75% of people with mental, neurological, and substance use disorders receive virtually no treatment for their conditions. There's very limited types of things that we do. We have these group sessions and things like that. So maybe something like this.
Well, it's interesting because these different organizations that are talking about World Mental Health Day, it's all about raising awareness of mental health problems, but there's an awful lot of should and could and ought to, and there isn't a lot of actual money, time, and energy being spent to find reasonable solutions and to look at all the aspects in a more holistic way.
For me, it's such a departure of my way of thinking. I mean, I've never had a thought of saying, this is it, I need to end it. I mean, and I've been in some deep holes myself before, both emotionally, physically, and stuff like that. I've known people that have taken their own lives. A neighbor of mine, when I was living in Detroit, I had left already, but I had heard, I was on the road, and I had heard that he killed himself, shotgun.
Yeah.
And one of his kids found it. So imagine what you do to the other people that are there.
Yeah.
So how desperate are you? I've never felt anything like that. Hopefully I never will. So that doesn't put me in touch with it very easily. That these problems are so deep that you're going to end your own life.
Now, in my practice, I see a lot of people who are in questionable condition and people who react strangely. And I teach... if there's too much, if there's way more energy behind what's being said than the actual topic would seem to require, you need to be looking for the real conversation that needs to go on here because it has nothing to do with the words that are coming out of their mouths. And it's anxiety is something that we all have from time to time. It's in varying degrees, but we don't realize how debilitating anxiety can be. Agoraphobia, the fear of open spaces, the stress that gets to people, and then they lose control of their their abilities to be patient and to be loving and
especially those people who are isolated more.
Yeah.
I see that. I notice myself when I've been isolated for a while, and we have been during these times, you see a friend you haven't seen for a while and you just want to have a little conversation of some kind. What do you think of this that's going on? That type of thing. Just to get some reassurances.
Yeah, well, I remember when I first started doing the show, it was March the 31st, and everything had happened, everything had closed. We were warned of dire doom problems. Don't go outside, don't go near anybody. And just getting on the road to drive here to the studio and seeing cars go by and seeing that there was, wait a minute, the world is still going on. We've seen too many apocalyptic movies,
Yeah. So we don't spend a lot of money on this, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention and put this in the newsletter. So we'll be right back, folks.
Would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And And welcome back. We're reading from an article. You need to read this report if you're worried about coronavirus's vaccine. At the start of the novel coronavirus pandemic, health experts, including Dr. Fauci, said that a vaccine might be ready within 12 to 18 months. That sounded great at the time, suggesting that scientists were fairly confident that the chances of success. The months that followed saw more than 100 different coronavirus vaccines enter trial, and some of the promising ones now advance to phase 3 clinical trials. The thing that comes to mind right away that so many people are not trusting vaccines anymore. There's a huge movement here, especially in the United States. And I'm partially into that group, I must admit, because I don't really like shots. I've never really had confidence in them, although I've had a tetanus shot. But as far as the flu shots, I think, I've always had the mind that my body can take care of it the way we take care of ourselves with the health, a little bit of exercise, eating really good food. I think that's the ticket right there. And so that's why we've never had these things. Would I have a vaccine of this kind? Not right away.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. They're working on vaccine. I say they. Whoever they may be.
Different
big
companies,
pharma,
yeah.
whatever, the big companies are working on vaccines. But so far, and there's lots and lots and lots of different strains of vaccines and lots of approaches, but so far, they haven't come up with a definitive response in a vaccine. And they're also talking about that, as you're saying, it says, according to this article, a few months ago, 1/3 of the Americans who were surveyed said they would not get a vaccine. And then the most recent poll shows as many as 2/3 of Americans will not get a COVID-19 vaccine, at least not initially.
Yeah.
So there's a great deal of apprehension about taking a vaccine.
And there's also a lot of pressure to get the vaccine because that's how they claim we'll get herd immunity. Not the natural way, but with a booster. So the shot is out there, you get the shot, you start shedding some of the good stuff supposedly, and you're part of that herd.
Yeah, except for the part where if 1/3 to 2/3 of the people are refusing to take the vaccine, that's
not
not
gonna happen,
going
yeah.
to create a herd immunity using that method.
Yeah.
It's this article is actually in Nature magazine, but what struck me just quickly at the end of this article, it says the goal of the vaccination trials would not be asymptomatic infections, but it would be requiring signs or symptoms of pneumonia to prove whether the drug works. So if volunteers get infected but do not develop pneumonia that would lead to severe respiratory complications, multiple organ failure, and death, then the vaccine is deemed effective.
This doesn't sound like good news to me, that's for sure. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Yeah,
we know that most people right now are very, very leery of these things, but I think there are different things that we can do too, and I think that's what we should be talking about, what we can do on a personal level.
Well, let's talk about some positive things that you can do to counteract some of these negative effects and the mental health impacts that the pandemic is having on us.
Well, it says here that self-care has often been relegated to spa days or pedicures or other acts of pampering, going to get a massage, that type of thing.
Right.
While all these activities are certainly pleasant, we're better off thinking of self-care as a lifestyle, as a series of decision points in which you decide whether some activity will increase your overall well-being or sense of peace, or whether some new responsibilities should be added to your everyday life. So in other words, now we're in the mood, it's kind of like what I do. Okay, so I go and have a sauna. On 4 or 5 times a week. I take these cold plunges 4 or 5 times a week. I also do some mild exercise, and I also do some really heavy exercise with jiu-jitsu. And we eat really well. And we have little tools, little creams and supplements that we take to make sure that we're on the right track physically and mentally.
Yeah, but it's this article actually. Let's get a little more specific here.
Okay.
The biggest thing that happened when this pandemic hit was every one of our routines went out the window.
Yeah. And we love routines.
Well, everybody, and we depend on routines to kind of get us. There's a certain amount of activity, like getting up in the morning and having your routine.
Yeah, you're on automatic.
Yeah, and it helps, because you kind of work your way through, get yourself going, ready for the day.
Yeah, and you ever notice that you're going through your routine, but you miss one thing, and then you realize it, and then you go, oh no, it's kind of like the hockey player with, you have to have that little certain thing that you do before you play the game, because they're very superstitious.
Well, yeah, but even, sometimes if you're sitting there and you're thinking, did I brush my teeth? I don't remember brushing my teeth.
Yeah, I've had that happen too. So routines are something that is intrinsic.
So the point is that in a situation like this, we have to create new routines. We have to create new ways of getting ourselves accustomed and comfortable and getting things done. And same thing with a bedtime routine.
Yeah. And these routines are kind of automatic. You don't really think about them. Well, I'm getting ready for bed, or whatever the routine is, and then you go on automatic, and you really don't think about it unless you miss something later on.
Well, but the point is, you may have to create a new routine. So, for example, you were used to getting up in the morning. You had your steps that you took to get yourself ready for the day. You packed up your coffee, and you headed for your car. Well, if your business is closed, if you're working from home, if you're not getting into your car, that throws off everything. It throws off what you're wearing. It throws off kind of what time it is. It throws off, are you going to sit right down at your computer at 9:20 the way you always did at work?
Right.
Or, are you going to do something else? Is the day going to get away from you? Or are things going...
Yeah, and that's why it was really good for you to be already at home doing your business for about a year and a half or so before this hit.
Yeah, I was very fortunate because... given and the nature of my business is that I can work from home. It's because my computer's hooked up to the system and I have access to everything and my phone messages and so on. But if you're if you're in even if you're just doing any kind of office work and you're not used to working from home, and there was a whole element of how do you set up an office and where are you going to work and how are you going to set up your time schedule. When you're home, you're used to not having a schedule per se in many ways. Yeah. And this was it's a huge adjustment for people. Yeah. To just to set up a space where you can work and not be distracted.
Yeah, and especially for the kids, I think, too, now, especially going back to school, some are in school, some are not in school. You don't know if you're going to stay in school, whether you're going to be back home again. It's stressful both for the students, certainly the teachers, certainly the parents. Yeah, everybody.
And then we have things like it's really hard to think about the positives in this situation. But this article points out that it's really important to celebrate success. And so that if that means you got through a day in which things went wrong, but somehow you got through it, that's a success, and you should celebrate that. Yeah. Congratulate yourself on doing a good job. I mean,
maybe through these times you don't do those things because it's not time for celebration yet.
Well, but you have to. Yeah, you have to keep that. Find the positive.
Yeah. We'll be right back with some more positive stuff.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive.
We take it every morning. Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The Gold Report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, JDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Now we're back. We have talked in the past about
Lots of things.
It's on my mind, went blank there, about the impacts of this mentally and anxiety and dealing with this. And we've talked about the fight or flight. That was where I was going with this.
Yeah.
We talked, and the fact that your body is primed. What happens is your body is, adrenaline pumps in. It's when you're in what you perceive as a dangerous or a problem situation. And your heart rate and your breathing increase, and everything your body gets pumped up for action, and then you either go or you stand your ground and you confront it and attack and whatever. Mm-hmm. But then it's over. And with the pandemic, we don't have that. It's not over. And too many anxiety is we're misinterpreting things as being dangerous, or we're just too many things. Everything looks like dangerous.
Well, what happens, I think, too, is there's a certain kind of straw that is on your back, and it's just that extra straw. It maybe won't happen during something really bad. Mm-hmm. It'll happen during something that's just irritable to you. Like that time I was on the phone with switching over my service, and it was ringing on one phone. I was trying to grab the other phone, and finally I called you because my mind was just going,
yeah, it went round and round.
Yeah, and it was because of this COVID thing. There was so much going on that one little thing was the trigger for me. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that can trigger it.
Yeah, and that's the point there, but it doesn't matter. Ultimately, there are things you can do. It doesn't matter what the trigger was. It doesn't matter what kind of situation you're in. There are some steps you can take.
Well, the reason for the trigger, though, is the unsafe feeling.
Yes.
That's the trigger right there, and that's what, for me, and, having a trigger like that because of a phone call, under normal conditions, I wouldn't trigger anything.
No.
But that was just the one extra thing for me, and all of a sudden I needed help.
Right.
And I was at home.
Right.
And that's never happened before to me.
Yeah, and I think that adds to that just compounds the sense of anxiety and the concern.
Right, and you were right there and calmly did things. So there's things that we do that we've always done to kind of play the thing down a little bit to make it more calm.
Well, this article talks about 5 steps, and they're just as good as anything else.
Yeah.
In logic, breathe. That's the first thing. When your heart starts pounding, do that yoga breathing. Breathe in for 4 through your nose, and then out through your mouth for a count of 4. And when you start focusing on breathing in and breathing out, your heart rate starts to go down, your blood pressure goes down, you start to feel, and your heart beating ceases.
And for breathing, you should really take some instructions. There's lots of things on the web, so you can go to YouTube and find lots of different breathing techniques. I would say they're probably all good. And I've learned quite a few of them, and they certainly work for me. And I set myself up every day with some good Wim Hof breathing techniques, and they work for me.
Yeah, then they talk about finding distractions, Take your mind off of instantly take your mind off of whatever's triggered your anxiety attack or your panic attack, and that could be as simple as just like grab something, pull up something on the web and count all the X's or all the P's or something like that, just to take your mind in another direction.
When I was studying with Tony Robbins years ago, he always had these little triggers that you could...
Little tricks.
Little tricks that you could distract yourself
now
with.
we call them hacks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right.
They were they're behavior hacks, and they work.
Yeah.
Because because your mind, again, your body believes what your mind tells it. So it's a matter of, if I can distract myself, get off the train that's roaring down the tracks there.
Yeah.
And just for a minute, that gets you back on your own track again.
That's right. You can be on the train or you can be off the train.
Yeah, right.
Just don't be in front of the train. Okay, number 4 is find distractions.
No, that's the one we just did.
Oh, that's the one we just did. Reassure yourself. So we often trust our own thoughts, but remember, during a panic attack, you might be misrepresenting the world as dangerous. So you talk yourself safe. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
And
you got through this before. You got through the day. Everything's good.
Well, these are what prayers came from, I'm sure.
Right.
So the little sayings to yourself. I'm the one in control here. These types of things are really good.
Yeah. Or I trust in whatever is in control here to keep me safe. And I'm not using that one right now. Well,
I trust you to keep me safe.
Well, that's it. That's the point. That you need to find positive people. You need to find, and even if you're on your own, so.
And that's hard, I think, going through things like this. If you're
it's
living
very
by yourself,
hard.
If
you're living alone, you really need to be reaching out to people.
Go see your bartender, go see a friend, your girlfriend, whatever it takes.
Or get on FaceTime or get on Zoom and see. It's very important to see people, to not just to talk to them on the phone, and I guess people or text, But you really need to see people and. Grounding is the next thing that's mentioned.
Okay, grounding yourself in the here and now. What is the date? What is the time?
Yeah, what day is this?
I don't think that's a really good illustration. What's going on now, right now, is not that good. So,
no, but
I understand what they're saying about this.
I think what they're talking about is mindfulness, is being aware of your environment and where you are at this moment.
That makes sense.
What's happening at this moment? What's around me at this moment? What can I smell? What can I hear? What can I touch?
And what can I see?
And what can I see? And what can I taste?
Yeah, and the last one on this list is soothe yourself. Listen to some music, suck on some candy, carry a nice smell around with you.
Just the aromatherapy thing is...
I was just going to mention that too. Is
really important. I use it all the time. There are certain... I have the cologne that I use is aromatherapy for me. If I put it on my wrist and then I smell it, and it immediately calms me down if I'm in a stressful situation.
My mother had this, always got headaches, and she had this 7777 from Holland, was a different perfume. You could also get it in the Bahamas, so once in a while my parents would go to Bahamas and pick up some of that stuff. She would have her handkerchief there, and the smell and everything like that would take the headache away. Yeah. And I remember my sister using that.
I use, there's an orange sandalwood smell, there are lovely smells and I actually carry around a little bottle of orange sandalwood lotion that you can just put on your upper lip and breathe it in, or put it on your pulse point and breathe it in. And I have cured, probably dozens of of headaches, even migraines respond to that.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have them, but I've actually given this to other people.
And we have tonics also that we use, like teas and things like that, coffee even. I mean, just the smell of nice roasted coffee, that gives me a good feeling.
Yeah.
Smell of baking bread. We have a lot. Bacon, oh yeah, that's right, bacon. Yeah, where's that dog when we need it?
yeah. But I mean, it really, that kind of thing, when I had to go back in for my 1-year check at Moffitt, and my blood pressure was through the roof just from being in the hospital.
Always.
And, I had my perfume on my pulse point, and so I smelled it, and I breathed.
I was outside waiting.
And I calmed, and you were outside waiting, and
it's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful
We'll be
thing.
right back, folks.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
TFNN has developed a daily programming lineup for traders by traders. We start every trading day live at 8:30 a.m. with Tommy O'Brien hosting the morning market kickoff as he starts the day off by breaking down everything you need to know about what's going on for the trading day ahead. At 9 a.m., Larry Pesavento takes your calls and questions live on the air for the opening bell as he hosts Trade What You See. At 10 a.m., Tom and Tommy O'Brien host the Bull Bear Trading Hour. At 11 a.m., it's Kevin Hinks and Alex Coffey from TD Ameritrade Network with Fast Market. Basil Chapman at noon with the Tiger Technicians Hour. Steve Rhodes hosts the Trader's Edge at 1 p.m. Dave White with the Power Trading Hour at 2 p.m. And Tom O'Brien closes out the day for the final hour of trading live from 3 till 4. Don't miss a second of our daily programming lineup. Tune in to Tiger TV every trading day live at TFNN.com. Educating investors.
And welcome back. This last article deals with coping strategies, and they say people have deployed 4 main coping strategies to, respond to crises and that. So,
well, it's interesting to me because they've got it broken down into 4 categories.
yeah.
You got negative external expressions, you got negative internal expressions, you got positive external expressions and positive internal expressions. and things, the negative external expressions, don't watch the news.
There it is right there.
And don't get yourself too engrossed in this negative back and forth that's going on politically.
And the positive of that would be then reaching out to families, neighbors, maybe even some strangers, being nice to people during this time.
Yeah, offering help.
That
comfort,
type of thing.
Check on your neighbors, check on your family.
Yeah.
I texted my cousin in California. I haven't spoken to her for a while, and I just a quick text.
Really important.
And she liked it, and I liked it.
Just as important as how we speak and act to other people, we have to do the same thing with ourselves.
So we have the negative thinking, the dwelling on the problems, the looking at the worst case scenarios, and we have to stop ourselves from doing that.
When you look in the mirror and you say, God, I always do that stupid thing.
Well, when you look in the mirror and you say, gosh, I look so tired.
That too, yeah.
That's, instead of saying, wow, yeah, look at that. I'm awake, my eyes are clear and
bright.
bright.
Take a couple of deep breaths, do the breathing, and say, I feel good. Even if you don't feel great, that starts you on the positive, I think.
Yeah, it does. And then positive internal expressions, it's very important. And that's where that mindfulness and gratitude, recognizing what's around you, and saying, I'm really happy to be in the situation I'm in. This is an opportunity, and I'm okay. I'm safe. My roof isn't leaking. Everything works.
Really important. I was very lucky that my dad had this philosophy. How lucky can I be? And it's actually on my blog on livingaprimal.lifestyle.com, so you can read that. And it's really set me up for success, because anytime something negative happened, I was always there to correct myself.
Yeah,
so it's a beautiful thing.
And so try and be positive, folks, and look in the mirror and smile and don't frown. And
sure.
You get better laugh lines than frown lines.
Yeah.
And
Thanks
be
for sticking
safe,
around.
be well.
Bye-bye.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched our brand new